I'm going to say something radical. Failure is more important than success. Think about the times when you've actually learned the most. Was it when you were simply coasting on top and everything just seemed like easy success after success? Or was it when you tried something, it didn't work, and you had to figure out how to solve it? When I was 15 years old, I was driving in the car with my dad from ice skating practice to school. I was a very competitive ice skater, but competition got to my head. He handed me his Starbucks coffee cup and told me to read its words and never forget them. He then gave me the typical dad pep talk to which I probably responded, "But you're my dad, so you have to think I'm amazing." Nonetheless, I kept that coffee cup on my bookshelf throughout high school, always in sight. What did he want me to read? Words from the remarkable novelist Paulo Coelho. Remember your dreams and fight for them. You must know what you want from life. There is just one thing that makes your dream become impossible: the fear of failure. You'd think that if you practice something over and over again, that when the real thing comes, it won't scare you anymore. But as we all know, that's not really true, is it? Like co-op. You think that after the first or second time, the fear of not getting a job, the utter panic about accepting the right job, and then the first day jitters will all go away. You know that feeling of sitting down on the first day and thinking, I'm not going to be able to get all this. I'm here to tell you that fear is good. Sometimes that fear tells you that you're making the right choice. If it isn't hard, you aren't learning. And if you aren't learning, you're wasting your time. When I left for college, I knew I couldn't leave that coffee cup behind, so I cut out the quote and framed it. Those words took me on my first dialogue to Geneva. They traveled with me as I went on co-op to GE in Connecticut, as I studied abroad in London, and they watched over me as I worked through a completely new and scary co-op experience in Palo Alto. Now they're back here with me in Boston, and they're more important than ever before. As the CEO of IDEA, I see people from our community choosing to live by these words. They passionately start companies knowing full well that the rate of failure is 9 times the rate of success. I've seen fellow co-ops live by these words, taking chances in new spaces and pushing themselves out of their comfort zone. And in our classrooms, I've seen students taking classes outside of their core area of study, bringing new perspectives to everyone else in the room. Northeastern has emboldened us by creating an environment that encourages interdisciplinary study and exploration. Our experience both in and out of the classroom has pushed and pulled us and exposed us to so much more than just a typical college education. Even with all that experience, for many of us, there is still that nagging sense that we have to get the best job or get accepted to the right postgraduate program. The pressure is sometimes so physical that my stomach feels as though it's flying through my chest and might just rip my heart out in the process. Everything has changed, and nothing has changed. I felt this way coming out of high school, too. We think that when we get that perfect job or into that top school, that it all will get easier. But it never does. I look at all of you around me and think that you must have all the right answers. But the reality is that none of us do. We're all just constantly striving to do our best. What I do see when I look around this stadium is an arena full of inspiring, self-selected go-getters. That push and pull that we've experienced, the feeling of being stretched so thin that we might crack, is critical to finding our voice. Within that perceived imbalance, there is equilibrium. We have felt the simultaneous academic, professional, and personal stress of finding our place in an environment that forces us to just get out there and do it. We are diamonds. From all that pressure that is the Northeastern experience, our voices are created. It's an awful cliche, I know. But from this, we can find greatness within ourselves. All we have to do now is embrace that fear of failure, see it as an opportunity. And if we do fail, recognize it as an essential step in our journey to our next opportunity. We've done this before. We've entered a new environment. We've started new jobs. We've had great bosses and awful ones. We've lost friends and gained some, and we've left all that we've known to experience a new part of the world. Unlike most universities, this is what Northeastern has given us: to work before we have to work, to learn before we have to know, to explore ideas, start companies, and learn to fail. Failure is good. Failure teaches us what we need to know to succeed. I've spent my college career being surrounded by entrepreneurs where we teach that failure is part of the process. Failure is the key to success. We don't have to know it all, that's the point. The next few years are for learning more than we've ever learned. So let's go out into the new world as dreamers. Let's hope and dream with no bounds, and let's not be afraid to chase those dreams to the corners of the earth. In the words of Paulo Coelho, it is the possibility of a dream that makes life interesting. You can choose between being a victim of destiny or an adventurer who is fighting for something important.